The engaged campus is not just located within a community, it's intimately connected to the public purposes and aspirations of community life itself.
The pedagogy of service learning, what it tries to do is integrate the learning that's happening in the classroom with the experience outside of the classroom. It's not the traditional literature class where you read a book and you come and talk about it, or you read poems and you just, you have a great discussion.
Community-based learning brings the curriculum to life. It's the opportunity to put a face to the content and the knowledge that you gain in the classroom.
Many of the things that we discussed in my Spanish class were about education and the achievement gap and how hard it is for students to adapt to a new environment where they maybe don't know the language and they feel as if they can't relate to people. And so working at El Campito, I was able to see all of that firsthand.
Since the fall of 2010, the Center for Social Concerns and the Department of Romance Languages and Literatures, through a joint faculty appointment, are extending student learning into the Latino community on South Bend's west side.
The program of community-based learning is so important because really more than anything, that's where we're able to connect La Casa de Amistad with the University of Notre Dame and the students here into the community.
I think when students come from Notre Dame or St. Mary's to volunteer at the Sister Maura Brennick Health Center, it's a bit of an eye-opening experience because I think they're used to just dealing with their fellow classmates and professors, and then they step outside of that campus bubble, so to speak, and they get to participate in meeting the needs of a community who's really vulnerable.
I think there is a lot of value to this type of pedagogy, and it hasn't been tapped into the way it needs to happen. I see it more as the future of education, especially in terms of learning foreign languages and teaching culture.
We've started immersion programs for the students to come into the neighborhood and stay with families and learn about the Latino community here in South Bend, Indiana.
To learn another language isn't really possible without learning about the culture. And maybe, yes, you could learn the words, but you don't understand them completely until you understand the cultural significance that they have.
Right now, we're working on being able to grow our partnership with professors.
With the little kids in the classroom, they love that somebody who doesn't look like them is still using, the same way, the same language that they're using. So even though, we have Notre Dame students coming in at all different levels, at beginning, intermediate, proficient language levels, the kids still have the same reaction. They're excited to use it and they want to help the Notre Dame students, to improve their Spanish.
What we learn in other classes in Spanish is very much an academic dialect, an academic discourse. So going to La Casa and doing service and having the opportunity to use Spanish is a very different context.
You just get used to speaking it the entire time you're volunteering, and you're learning new words subconsciously every day.
I almost forget that I'm in South Bend because it's such a different atmosphere, a different community. And I remember one time I even thought I was in a different time zone. I didn't even check my watch and thought I was in a different time zone. You just kind of feel like you're in another world.
Learning at Notre Dame isn't all about equations and learning theories, but it's also using things that you learn and applying them to step outside of your own little world as a student.
It taught me a lot about myself and who I am and how I fit into the broader picture of a global society.
By the university coming out to us, our kids are able to see college, not necessarily there on campus, but here in their home.
And they start saying, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a teacher when I grow up. I want to be a social worker. I want to go to college. That has been the most humbling experience for me.